Welcome to Film Riot. If you didn't notice, last week there was no Thursday episode, and that's because we were releasing 2 Thursday-style episodes this week. This is not one of them. They kind of go together in a weird way, so we decided we were just going to release them both in 1 week. I don't really know why, but that's what we're doing. So there you go. So we'll probably have one out on Wednesday and the other one out on Friday. But now, today we're doing something we haven't done in quite a while, and that is answering questions. We asked you guys to submit some questions on Facebook. You did, so now I'm going to answer them. First question, how useful/important are certifications, Adobe, Final Cut Pro, etc., when compared to a portfolio of work? Basically, when it comes to getting work, does it actually matter which editing system you use? That might be 2 questions. In my opinion, certifications mean very, very little, if nothing at all, to most employers. There are some people who definitely look at that and that matters, but for the most part, it's the same thing as if you went to film school or not. Nobody cares. All they care about is, are you talented and knowledgeable in the thing? What's great about film school and certifications is that you are getting an education, that you are furthering your knowledge in your craft. So that's great. So it's great for you. It matters for you, but it's not going to matter to get a job or not, at least in my experience. What editor you use absolutely matters. If the production company you want to work for is not a Final Cut studio or an Adobe Premiere studio, you're going to have a tough time getting work with them if you don't know both. In my opinion, an editor should know every bit of major software out there, so that doesn't become a block for you. But of course, you're going to be most proficient on just one of them. There has been times where compromises had to be made for me to be involved in a project. Not too long ago, I edited something a bit larger, but I wanted to edit on Premiere because that's what I know the most, and that's what I trust the most. That's what I like the most. It's what the one I personally think is the best editor out there, but they were doing on Avid, but compromises were made, and I was able to edit in Premiere in the end. So you're definitely going to run into that sort of thing where it will matter what system you're actually on. Next question, in a world full of technology, is resolution the future? Netflix has set guidelines for true 4K. Red are pushing the limits with 8K. Resolution will keep going up. Quality will keep going up until, I don't know, actual human beings are in your living room acting out the scenes. I don't know. Technology is always moving forward, but that shouldn't be what you're most focused on. It's why you never hear us talk about it on Film Riot, really, because whether you're shooting 2K or 8K, the only thing that matters is the story you're telling, is the experience you're giving to your audience. And no matter how many Ks you have next to a number does not mean you're going to be telling a good one or not. Obviously, yes, you're going to want to start moving toward 4K. That's where everything is going. And working with 8K is great because it gives you that extra real estate if you're wanting to move around in post. So there's benefits, but they're all just tools, and you should be thinking about it like that. What is the most important piece of equipment that changed the way you film besides camera or lens? I would say not equipment, but people. Gear is great. I love gear. The better gear that you use, the easier it is to obtain the goal that you're trying to obtain. It's just whether, you're limping towards your location or sprinting towards your location. Either way, you're getting there in the end. That's really how I look at gear. So even back in the day, if I wanted something that felt like a dolly move and I didn't have a dolly, well, then I would just walk the camera in, emulating that sort of move. But obviously it's handheld. Maybe I could smooth it out in post. So I don't think the way that I shoot has changed at all based on the gear that I've been able to use. What has changed the way that I shoot is people, collaborators, people that I'm able to get with and work with and bring their talents to the project to, enhance everything that much further and sort of see the project in ways that I never saw before. So, don't focus on gear so much. Whether you're shooting with a Red Epic or a T2Y, it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Are style and substance mutually exclusive? If not, what director do you think merges those the best? I think you can have a lack of substance, but I don't think you can really have a lack of style. Every director has their own style, whether that's a very withheld style or a very in-your-face explosive style. That's just what the filmmaker is bringing to that project. Substance obviously is key and one of the most important things. Spielberg, obviously, Hitchcock, all of my favorite directors, Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, David Fincher, all those guys I think are tremendous at bringing their style heavily to the project while also infusing it with just pounds and pounds of substance. Upgrading camera and can't decide between the A7S II or the GH5, what would you go for? For me, it would be the A7S II because the low light is fantastic and I liked how it was rendering the image better than the GH5. I did some tests and the A7S II was holding together a lot better than the GH5 was. So in the end, I was a lot happier with my Sony than I was with the Panasonic, although the Panasonic is a great camera. It has a lot of upsides like we showed in our review. So either way, honestly, you're going to be happy. They're both great cameras, but for me personally, I would go Sony. If you could delete a franchise from history, what would it be and why? I wouldn't. Why would I want to? Any franchise that I personally hate, there's a huge amount of people that love it. So that thing holds value. I've talked about that on the show before. I think people love to demonize things that they don't personally like, as if, not that that's what you're saying. Now I'm just on a rant, that they don't personally like, because since they don't personally like it, well, then it's just empirical fact that this thing is terrible. And that's just not the case. It's an arrogant way at looking at the world, art, and entertainment. And I just don't think in those terms. Again, even the ones that I hate hold value for someone, and that makes them important. Should I buy gear or rent it? I think more often than not, you're probably better off just renting, especially if you're talking about cameras. If you don't have a production company where you're doing this stuff constantly, I would definitely buy a cheaper camera that you can just use for smaller things and rent bigger cameras for your productions. And then, have a small package of gear, small kit of lights, audio gear, camera, so you're always ready for stuff if you need to. But I wouldn't buy but I wouldn't buy really expensive gear unless I was doing it constantly like I am with Film Riot. We have a production company. We have several productions constantly in the works. So it makes sense for us to buy and not be renting every other day. But if that's not what you do, definitely go the renting route. And last question. I know you've stated that film school isn't necessary, but do you think you would be where you are right now without film school? I don't know. Possibly not, because the other thing that I said was at the time, film school was very important because there was no way to find that information. So by the time that information was readily available online, I may have been of an age where I was already started in a different career. So I'm not really sure. And I don't think film school is completely unnecessary. I think you can totally get by without film school, but I think some people do need it. There's a lot of great things that come out of film school, the camaraderie of your fellow classmates, being able to focus for a period of time on just that thing. Everything's hyper-focused. You have people there that you can talk to, get your hands on gear. So there's a lot of massive benefits to film school. The upside is if you can't actually get to film school, if you can't get the loans, or you just don't have the cash, or you just don't want to go in that sort of debt, that's not a deal breaker. You could still make it in the industry without that. I would say most of the people I currently know that are some of the talented people I know never went to film school.
Hey guys, welcome to the cooking vlog, episode 354. Today we have a very exciting tutorial on how to cook.
The first one you've ever done.
Okay, you said you wanted to be here for the vlog. If you don't. Each week, HelloFresh comes up with delicious new recipes delivered direct to your door with simple to follow instructions.
When's lunch gonna be ready?
Great question, Josh, and solid segue, my man.
I'm not trying to.
Every meal takes about 30 minutes to make and only costs like $10.
What are you doing?
Have you ever seen a vlog? It's called Adding Energy. HelloFresh sources the freshest ingredients, measured to the exact quantities needed, so there's no wasted food. Plus, it comes with these amazing and easy to follow instructions. Josh, you're losing the frame.
I don't want to do this.
I need you right here.
God, you're such a butthole.
HelloFresh is now offering light summer meals and has just introduced breakfast options. Plus, you could get $30 off your first week of deliveries when you visit HelloFresh.com, enter FilmRiot30 when you subscribe. With HelloFresh, even I can make a delicious home-cooked meal, right, Josh?
Sure did, butthole.
Logo.
So that's it for today, which means it's time to talk about what I've been watching. I just started watching Glow on Netflix. Josh told me to watch it, and I actually kind of love it. I'm only about 4 episodes in, but it's really great. I like a lot of the directions that they've gone, a lot of the very interesting turns that they've taken. There's a lot of interesting things that they're doing with this show and how they're handling the characters and the storyline. So definitely check that out on Netflix. And until next week, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.